Morgiana, you were so close. Otaka-sensei, why? Before we hop into this discussion on Morgiana, please do me a favor and leave a like, drop your own thoughts on Morgiana in the comment section down below, and subscribe if you haven't already. Now, let's get into it. What's up, guys? That got the pencil here, and Morgiana, you're so good, but please, why? Like, here's the thing, I'm gonna drop all pretenses. I love Morgiana as a character. I think she has a fantastic character design. I think I've already mentioned it before. The Vanillas are my favorite race, even more than magicians in the world of Magi, just because of how cool they are. I think if you're superhuman, you're legendary. And here's the thing, I'm mad that not a single Vanillas got the rep. None of them got represented in the last fight, against Sinbad mainly. Here's the thing, I think that Morgiana gets sidelined a lot in comparison to her other two fellow main, technically in comparison to all three of her fellow main characters. Let's be real, she gets less than Aladdin, she gets less than Alibaba, she gets less than Hakuryu, heck, she gets less than Judar, darn it. Like, here's the thing, she does it really, really good at what she is. For a serious, stoic character who happens to be soft on the inside, she plays that super well. From her introduction to her conclusion, I love her really relaxed. Like, it's not, well, relaxed is a weird way to put it. Let me see. How could I phrase this? Not necessarily a relaxed personality, but Morgiana has this almost calm air about her for the most part. Like, yeah, she stances up all the time. Like, the pose with the arms behind the back, she's ready. She's ready to accept all smoke. However, the thing is, she's still much more the calmest person out of her entire group, despite her circumstances. Legitimately, she's nowhere near as energetic as Aladdin or Alibaba, and even at times Hakuryu can express Hakuryu, but that's perfectly fine. I'm really fine with stoic characters, the Kudere type. Well, not my favorite kind of character, I do like it when it's done well. And Morgiana does it well, and you completely understand why she's like this. Her backstory as a person who was a slave and had gone through suffering like that, who couldn't speak, who wasn't allowed to use her voice, wasn't allowed to be who she really was. She couldn't even discover who she really was. She was constantly under this control of a man that was completely above her, only in status. If she had turned on that guy, if she had turned on Jamil, well, guess what? Jamil was dead, obviously, easily. The only reason he had any remote control or investment over her, that she didn't attack him, is because of years of psychological torture. And she worked through all of that. And she managed to go off on her own in a world that she had never been into before, with a group of people she had never been with before, and managed to figure out what she was. Inherently, Morgiana realized that she was a protector. That's the one thing I do like. While part of me is wondering if that's a remnant of her previous existence as a powerful warrior to protect her master, I still love that Morgiana managed to take that part of her and reinforce it into a positive thing. When she was traveling with the traders, she wanted to go defeat those bandits so they could go the proper way, so they could keep up their livelihood. She wanted to help people, she wanted to protect people, and I love that in characters. I love when characters do understand that they have their own motivations, but they're not only willing to help themselves, but willing to help others. I love Morgiana for that. She managed to go out and do that all on her own, and in my opinion, Morgiana alone is her best arc when she doesn't have to worry about supporting other characters, because the main issue that I have with Morgiana is that once she ends up with the rest of the gang again, after her own little arc, and things stop focusing on her, and I mean that in the absolute way. Like, Aladdin gets all the focus, then Alibaba gets all the focus, then Hakuryu gets all the focus. Every other character more so uses Morgiana as a fuel towards their main objective. In the Balbad arc, the only thing Morgiana did was fight off those monkeys, so Alibaba could go complete his main objective. The only thing that she really ever see, and here's the thing, I was about to go on to a whole rant about how all she does is support other characters, and that's the thing, that's what she wants to do, so I can't necessarily say I'm mad at that. See, now, this is what happens, that's why I love doing these character videos a bit unscripted, because while I do have notes in front of me that I look at, so I know every point I want to hit about a character when I'm talking about them, I don't fully overscript myself, because I like thinking about these things on the fly. So I understand why Morgiana does care about supporting her friends, and that's why that's her character function within the narrative. She always wants to act as the support. And while I'm not the biggest fan of that, personally, I'm not the biggest fan of that, I understand it now. So, like, darn it, like, not all my complaints go out the window, nah, forget that. Here's the thing, she wants to be Alibaba's strength. She also wants to be Aladdin's strength. She wants to be everyone's strength. She wants to be everyone's guardian, basically. One of my favorite moments from Morgiana is when she pulls up to Hakuryu after the entire war arc, everything gets nominated, he becomes emperor, everything, and she pulls up, boom, arms crossed up, and she tells him, I'm going to watch over you. If you ever do something like that again, I'm whooping your behind and putting you back in place. And that's it. I'm gone. And that moment is so good because oh man, I still like Morgiana. That's why Morgiana is great. But there's a comma, there's a ... Morgiana is fantastic because in that moment, she straight up reminded Hakuryu. She basically reminded the reader too, oh yeah, I am extremely powerful. And I do know what I am capable of doing. And I think you know what I'm capable of doing. So you are going to maintain control. You are going to maintain yourself. Understood? And it was understood. It was facts. It was clear. Hakuryu couldn't do anything about it. We couldn't do anything about it, but watch. We knew the facts. And I love that. I love how Morgiana, despite not necessarily taking up the leadership role, her role is not to be one of the king vessels. She ends up still coming with that presence, still coming with that power behind her that makes people respect her within the narrative, and also makes it so that every single time a character needs help, you know Morgiana's gonna be there because that's what Morgiana loves to do. That's what Morgiana wants to do, and I respect that. See now, man. So fundamentally, Morgiana's role as protector in the narrative is something I rock with. I think it's good. However, here's my main issue. Morgiana, despite being one of our main characters, literally the third main character that we meet, is not included in the final battle. That annoys me. That annoys me a lot. Because here's the thing. I'm not necessarily mad that the final battle didn't get finished. I do feel like the ending of Magi is rushed, like, insanely. I'm definitely going to talk about that. That's definitely going to be a video this month. But this scene where Morgiana straight up says, I want to fight, but I literally can't. That didn't just hurt Alibaba. That didn't just hurt Morgiana. That hurt me. I was sitting there reading that like, please. I was so ready for her to do it too. Like, I was ready for her to just break the chains of fate, because that's what I thought her entire arc was going to be. Her finally breaking free of the chains that always held her down. Sure, she did that in the beginning, but she kept giving herself new chains by connecting all these people and weighting herself down. But she was willing to lift those chains. She was willing to pull them up with her. Her everything was about breaking free of bondage and chains. And I feel like if she had broken free of Sinbad's control in that moment and had done what I wanted her to do, or I feel like everyone wanted her to do, then that would have been perfect for her arc. However, didn't happen. And here's the thing that annoys me the most about that. I feel like the Fenilas had a built-in excuse of why they shouldn't have been affected by the Sacred Palace. Now, while after reading both series, I still don't know how the Fenilas got human forms. I'm assuming it's just leaving the Dark Continent just overwhelmed them. But regardless of that, I feel like considering they were able to resist the magic of the Sacred Palace the first time Ugo transferred them somewhere, I feel like Sinbad should have been like struggling at least to manipulate them, especially since Morgiana is apparently a pure-blooded, beautiful line of Fenilas. Like, that's literally what the Fenilas say. Like, oh no, she's literally top of the line. That's why she's bodying full naturally transformed Fenilas, even in her human state. So I was so ready for the excuse to be used because it seemed like it was right there to let Morgiana go and fight. But I guess if you had to make that exception, you would have to make Mu immune to it, and then you would have to make basically every other Fenilas immune to it. And there are too many Fenilas within the main narrative that would not have been rocking what Sinbad did to let that happen. But let Morgiana have the excuse, darn it. Like, she's literally been connected to some of the most important and dangerous magical characters in the entire world, but no, she still has to be locked away. I think that's what annoys me the most about Morgiana. I like Morgiana entirely. I think she does great as a protector. I think she has a fantastic design. Do I just hop into this? I'll save the design in a bit, but the thing is, she does a fantastic role as protector. She follows her own will for the most part, and even after she gets free, she does fine. She does perfectly fine against the rest of the towers with everybody else. But the thing that just hurts me on a different level is that it was right there. She was literally one of the main characters. She literally, her whole arc was about breaking free of chains and fighting against her fate. Everything was about her breaking free and stopping an oppressor like Sinbad. Literally, she had her moment with Hakuryu to establish that she will not allow tyrannical beings to just roam the earth. She will stop them herself. But what happens? She gets chained down and can't help. And man, I'm just like, here's the thing. I am happy with every other part but that. Why does she do so good up until her character conclusion? And not only that, she suffers from the same thing I mentioned a while back. She got a useless endgame amp. Like, Morgiana becoming that powerful and that strong, Fenilas plus level, or however you want to put it, was worthless, legitimately. She fought no one of reverence. Not no one of reverence, no one of importance. She fought Arba, she held her up, she blitzed Arba, she really styled on Arba, which is great. However, she didn't defeat Arba, she stalled. Her amp was pointless. And I guess that's my main issue. Morgiana, she does a lot of great stuff support-wise, but in terms of a main character, in terms of our tertiary main character, she doesn't do enough for me to be like, yes, this is quality. Like, I can't put her on the same level as Aladdin. Heck, I can't put her on the same level as Alibaba. Darn it, as much as I like her more than Hakuryu, but that's only for like superficial factors. If I were to be real honest with y'all, Hakuryu is a better character than Morgiana, so I can't, that's the thing. And the thing is, fine, let's make up an excuse for Morgiana specifically of why. No, here's another thing before I even get into that. Morgiana really should have been a king's vessel. Really, why wasn't she? Why wasn't she? If Kogyoku can do it, so can Morgiana. If Hakuei can do it, so can Morgiana. Why can all these random characters get their own king vessels, but no, Morgiana has to become part of Alibaba's household? For what reason? And you can't even use the excuse that the vanillas don't have enough Magoi, because look at my boy Mu. Mu is a menace with Barbados. So where was Morgiana's? Legitimately, I don't know what you even could have given her. I'll be real, like, wild thing. I'm definitely, you know what, I may make that video. It's gonna be a really dumb video. It's basically gonna be fan fiction, but I'm gonna release that video because the idea that I had to give Morgiana something is like, give her a time-based one that she can flicker into on and off, because obviously you're right, she doesn't have that much Magoi. Of course she gets enough Magoi to use her household vessel for extreme distances, but regardless of that, fine, give her something that allows her to be prevalent. Like, just as Alibaba says, everyone can still serve a role. Just because she has a king's vessel doesn't mean that she has to suddenly be broken, strongest person ever. Because look at Mu. Mu, despite being, well, he's a half-breed Fanilus, but still, he's a Fanilus with the metal vessel. Doesn't stop him from not being absolutely broken. So why couldn't you give Morgiana one? Why not? Why not? Right? Otaka-sensei, I need answers, please. Why couldn't you give Morgiana one? Why wouldn't you let her be her own? And I understand her being in Alibaba's household is like a different thing from her being Jamil's slave. However, I don't know. When I look at things in a narrative, I see mirrors for certain things. Like, I take a look at the household concept, and I look at how every other household is basically treated, except for Sinbad's and Alibaba's. And even Sinbad's, really, they're tools to him. But we can literally see that by the end of the series when Sinbad, I believe it's Hakuryu himself, calls him out. Yeah, you see your comrades as good things, but you all see them lesser than you. You all see them smaller than you. You take a look at Ren Kohen's household. They're a bunch of tools. Sure, they're all people. They're all wonderful people, but still tools. And when I saw Morgiana become part of Alibaba's household, I'm like, why? How come this random new character, Hakuryu, he gets a household, but we can't give, now it gets a household. How come he gets a metal vessel, but we can't give Morgiana one? Like, why not? And here's the thing, I would have given it a pass if you could say that, oh, well, by pure technicality, only those of royal blood can have metal vessels. You know, come on now, they gotta be king. Look at Mu. Mu is literally what Morgiana should have been in my mind. Like, a metal vessel wielding, if not the strongest metal vessel user, like, I mean that as if, like, not the best at using it because of the limited Magoi, should have had one, should have been prevalent, should have been useful, all that good stuff. But we don't get that with Morgiana. We get the support character, the definition of the support character, and that's fine because that's what Morgiana wanted to do, but she couldn't be supportive in one of her biggest moments. Like, she wants to go fight, but she literally can't, and it's can't for reason of the author didn't want to do it. Like, Otaka-sensei specifically chose to not give Morgiana a metal vessel. Otaka-sensei specifically chose to not let Morgiana take part in the final battle. There are multiple things that Otaka-sensei specifically chose to, in my opinion, this is once again purely my opinion, hold Morgiana back drastically more than she needed to be. What was the reason for not giving her one? Since you showed that Vanillas can in fact wield them. What's the reason for not letting her get into the final battle? If you let Nevra be exempt from Sinbad's control, you should have at least let Morgiana somehow make a reason. If you don't have a reason, make one. But that's it. No negativity. Could that be a what if? I think I may make a what if. What if Morgiana was more of an active character? But that'd be weird. But I'm definitely gonna tell y'all about the weird idea I had, because a little tangent before I get into Morgiana's design. Whenever I read a series, I make an original character for them. I don't know. I'm a weird writing / artist guy. I have the capability to make my own characters, so I do. Here's a picture of the guy. Like, look at what he is. I think I did a decent job designing him. Yes, if you're asking, he's definitely based off of both Mu and Masor. But regardless of that, I did that based off Morgiana and what my disappointment was with her character. But before I get into her design, let me just be positive again. I fully understand Morgiana's role as a support character. I respect her role as a support character, and I'm glad she managed to fulfill what she wanted to do because she herself chose the path of a support character and was willing to do anything and everything for her friends. I think that's beautiful. I think that's great. I think she has many great moments, from her finally figuring out her origins as a Fenelus and realizing that she makes the choice to stay on the side of the world that has all her friends and those she cares about on it, because that's who she loves, that's who she cares about. Her home that she was longing for so long wasn't as important as the bond she built. That's beautiful. Her telling Hakuryu that he has to sit down or else she's going to make him sit down. That's beautiful. All the time she supports Alibaba and Aladdin through all their hardships, being the calm, stern, willing, almost like parental figure to both of them by being there and being that solid rock for both of them. That's beautiful. Her being the motivation for Alibaba to go and fight Sinbad. I mean, I don't like the fact that she couldn't go fight Sinbad, but I still enjoy the fact that she managed to be so important to everybody. All that wonderful, beautiful, and I think she has a fantastic design. Once again, the misleading nature, because here's the thing, every other Fenelus is extremely jacked. Even the more adult female Fenelus are just jacked monsters. You take one look at them and you're like, yeah, if they get their hands on me, I'm probably dying. But you take a look at Morgiana and you just don't expect it. You think she would be a magic wielder or something like that, another Yamuraiha. But no, she isn't. She will throw hands. Hard as heck, she'll throw some hands. And I love that. I think it's beautiful how her design really conveys like a much more ginger, light-hearted demeanor, like a more relaxed one. But due to how she uses it and how flexible her design is, she creates some of the most dynamic fight scenes. I believe Arbor versus Morgiana, as pointless as the fight is in the grand scheme of things, outside of stalling, it's still extremely cool. And that's the last moment I want to mention. Morgiana saying that Arba was only the strong Tsunamatoran because she never fought the Fenelus. I lose my mind every time. I scream at the top of my lungs. I know people hate me when they hear me scream every time I read that moment. But thing is, I like the design. Especially her final design is my favorite because it keeps aspects of her original design in the necklace from Alibaba, but she also adds the different extra details, the more wild details to her dress, all the extra bits on it. And I like the leg designs. I wish Morgiana had gauntlets. That may just be a weird thing, but then again, that's me wanting her to have a metal vessel. But regardless of that, I think all the stuff like that is really, really cool. I like her design from the aspect of even the little side tail, it's little extra details, because really she has a super simple design. Even her final design is very simple, but it's the simple nature of it that makes it good for animating and drawing for dynamic fight scenes. So I understand the simplicity of her design. I think it works great as a opposing contrast to what she really is, her being one of the most physical upfront warriors in her group, if not the most upfront physical warrior in her group, and still being really slender design, all that fantastic. And yeah, I think Morgiana still is great. That's why I know the title of the video is Morgiana Is Good, but I still think she's great. She does a lot of good stuff. I just wish she did a little tad bit more. A little bit extra sauce, a little bit extra sprinkle, and Morgiana would be perfect. I may do a video just like how to fix Morgiana, but really there isn't much for me to fix. Obviously, Otaka Sensei knew what they were doing. They wrote a fantastic story with fantastic characters. I'm just a guy on the internet complaining about the one issue with the character I really, really like, not getting what I believe is their true recognition or their full potential, but that's just me. I want to hear your thoughts on Morgiana in the comment section down below. Please, do you like her? Do you dislike her? Do you wish she also had more moments that allowed her to show off more as one of the main characters? Or do you not? Do you think she got just as what she needed, and honestly any more would have been too much? Please tell what you guys think in the comment section down below. Thank you guys so much for watching. Please remember to like, share, comment, and subscribe, and I hope you guys have a wonderful day. This is That Guy with the Pencil, writing off.